This year, one of our newest stops in the animal kingdom has been Maine. Now, this is where a group of people have been making sure the deer have enough food to get through the winter.
This winter, the Brownsville Food Pantry handed out tons of oats, apples, and acorns, but it was a record setter for just how short the season was.
Joining us now to talk a bit more about it is Randy McMahon, manager at the Outdoor Kitchen for the Deer. Thanks so much for joining us. You know, we started using your camera because we just love looking at the wildlife there, but also to see some snowy scenes. And you guys didn't see a whole lot of the winter weather this season. How did that contribute to the deer sightings?
We actually had less deer show up this year. And thank you, Molly and Alex, for having me on this morning. But the winter snowfall really determines on the amount of deer that we have show up. And this winter was such a lack of snowfall and our temperatures were above average. Many of the deers didn't yard with us this winter. We still had adequate numbers in terms of the amount that we had coming. We were able to sustain them, but it was down from years prior, and it was all due to snowfall. They didn't really need to come into the pantry because they had adequate food that they were able to forage for in the deer yards.
So let's talk about the task of feeding the deer. 6,300 pounds of apples, 28 tons of native oats is just part of what goes into feeding. How do you make this happen every year?
It's been a process. My father started doing it back in the 80s when he lived out in Medford. He used to feed a herd of around 6 to 10 deer. And when he had some medical issues, we moved him up with us at our house here in Brownville. And that's when we had our combined assets. We were able to streamline more of the process of the deer feeding. We went from 5-gallon pails up to what we're at now is a 5-ton silo. And we have automatic feeding systems where we have controllers that are able to dispense the food for the deer. But it's been a long process, and it's been a lot of trial and error trying to get it streamlined to a point where we are right now.
It really is amazing as we're taking a look at some of the shots there. Now, the deer are not the only animals that get spotted there in Brownville. What other animals can we expect to see as the seasons change?
We get a lot of wild turkeys. Right now, we have a lot of our spring birds are coming early. We've seen robins, we've seen ducks. We usually don't see them for about another 3 or 4 weeks. So everything's coming in early this year. We just had an article on the news last week that the bears are coming out of hibernation early. So it's been a very odd winter.
Oh, the bears coming out early. Hikers beware. Well, your Facebook page also mentions mud season is coming. How are you preparing for this transition period and the features that springs up and down with some of the precipitation and temperatures?
We try to limit traffic as much as we can throughout the mud season, because with the animal traffic, the deer know on their own. Once mud season's here, a lot of them will venture off before mud season's even officially hit this area, because once mud season's here, a lot of their natural browse is available for them. They don't need us here at the pantry. But when they do travel off, it's kind of a benefit on our end, because when mud season's here, they can destroy yards and our road systems. We try to limit access on camp roads and stuff with vehicles, just because the ground softens so much that it can destroy things fairly quickly just because of the saturation of the soils.
Now, what upgrades are you making so that people can keep checking in on the animals there? I know you mentioned how you guys have been kind of fine-tuning everything here over the years. Any more updates in line?
We actually have been in contact with Axis Communications, which is a camera manufacturer, and they have a few other YouTube channels that use their system. And it's quite an upgrade from what we're running right now. We have Reolink cameras, and they're a 4K 25 frame per second. But the Axis cams we're getting are going to be a 4K 60 frame per second. And their aperture and their everything about them, their low light levels, it's going to be a lot better system we're going to be upgrading to for the viewers.
All right. Well, we look forward to seeing it. Thank you, Randy McMahon, the owner and manager of Brownville's Food Pantry for Deer.